Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem. And tonight we're going to be discussing how to embrace positivity and hope in the darkness. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'd like to thank our sponsor, OK Clarity. OK Clarity is a place to find a top-notch therapist, coach, or nutritionists. Their professionals are vetted and have extensive experience working with the Jewish community. If you're in the market for a therapist, coach, or the like, or if you're a wellness professional looking to get more online exposure, go check them out, okclarity.com. They also have an amazing WhatsApp status. You can join. The number is 917-426-1495. That's 917-426-1495. So let's get started. Get grounded, take a deep breath, no matter where you are, if you're here live or listening to the recording, just to become aware of what's going on, where you're coming from, what your day look like. Become aware of where you are. You look around the room. If you're driving, then keep your eyes forward. And then we turn inwards to feel. Become aware of how do I feel? How do I feel? What does my body feel like? Is it stressed or relaxed? Where am I? Take a few moments to be there for yourself. Just to be. And again, we're not going to change anything now. We're not looking to change. We're just becoming aware. Just become aware of where you are. Both feet on the floor. Feel your feet on the floor. You can stretch, feel stressed. Take a deep breath. Beautiful. So last week was before Tisha B'Av. And we discussed that many people would have to be b'simcha on Tisha B'Av. There are people that have the tendency of being negative 24/7, and they need a lot of work done to slowly change, to see the positives, to see positives on themselves, on the world around them. And for them, we suggested that on Tisha B'Av, there are positives in Tisha B'Av also. On Tisha B'Av also. Tisha B'Av is called a moyed. We don't say tachnan. Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. There are many, many things that we could be jumping from joy on Tisha B'Av. So it's the concept of the cup half full, half empty. Wherever we go, whatever you're going to choose, you can always look at it with your positive glasses or negative glasses. It's half full, half empty. They're both true. You have both. Question is, what do you focus on? Our life is on what we focus. We focus on the positive. It feels better. We see positives. And we're in a better place. If we focus on the negative, then you're probably going to feel it. You'll feel what you focus on. What we focus on, that's where our thoughts are. And that's how we feel. We feel based on what we think. So what are you focusing on? So let's stop for a moment and think, how did my Tisha B'Av look like? Now, again, we're not here to judge. Just to take a few minutes and reflect. Take a few minutes and look back. Let's see what it looked like. So for some people, you were able to connect for a few minutes. Maybe you had a few minutes quiet and you were reading something. You were able to think about it, feel something, which is beautiful. Other people maybe would say you were distracted the whole day, busy the whole day, couldn't think about it at all. Or maybe you were super focused, sat on the floor the whole day and didn't get your mind off Tisha B'Av. And it sounds amazing. But whatever it was, just to reflect, what did my Tisha B'Av look like? Just to become aware of how do I take it? Is it something that works? Something that I connect to? And like we mentioned last week, some people feel that finally there's one day that everybody understands them. Everybody's like, no, there's no good morning. Everybody looks upset. So that's also an awareness, just to become aware of what it is. So what I was thinking is that we have a day, one day of the year, that we're super focused, which I don't want to call negative or positive. It's super focused on reality, super focused on gullus, super focused that we don't belong here. That means we have one day that's like we're mindful for 24 hours, like doing meditation. Just, there's certain things you're not allowed to do because that's going to make you happy. You're not allowed to learn, but music, whatever it is, certain things you're not allowed to do, so it doesn't make you happy, because we have to be super focused one day of the year to face reality. And I guess it hurts. We're in Galus, and everything around it, whether we feel the Beis Hamikdash or we feel our own Galus. So I was thinking, really what we need another day of the year that's super focused on the positive. We should have one day of the year that you have to do things that make you happy. And you're not allowed, no discussions that make you upset. You can't go next to people that make you upset. Certain things that you have to do just to be super focused on happiness. We should have such a day. And many people mentioned that we have Shabbos, we have Yom Tov. Okay, so the question is, if you feel that way, it's important to notice, do you feel that way on Shabbos, Yom Tov? But I would say the truth is that every day is that way. It's only that one day of the year we're super focused on Golus and on, we'll call it negative, on the things that we're missing. But otherwise, we're not supposed to walk around like Tisha B'Av every day. So every day we're supposed to be on a positive mood, upbeat, right? We do mention it for those who do taking chatzos. So we have a few minutes a day. We sit down on the floor, so we have a few minutes of Tisha B'Av every day. But that's it. And when you daven with Yerushalayim Mircha, so you have a few minutes, a few seconds, you can think about it. But otherwise, most of the time it should be upbeat, super focused on positive. Just an interesting observation. And like we mentioned, it's important to be aware of, where am I? What does my day look like? And it's a lot what we talk over here. What are my thoughts? Are my thoughts positive? Do they work for me? Or maybe not, maybe negative. Just to become aware of it, to become aware of where it takes me. So the question is, what's our default mode? And we had a discussion called our emotional home. What's your emotional home? If you don't think about anything, if you don't stop and try to say, let me try to be positive, where do you find yourself most of the day? Some people would find themselves in a positive mood most of the day. Some people would find themselves in negative moods. And some people would say, I don't know. I'm not even aware. Okay. Question is why you should be aware. So we'll discuss it, but to know what's your emotional home, what should I feel? What do I want to feel? We discussed that it's really in our hands. We can press certain buttons to feel a certain way. And it's our choice. But it takes time for many people to realize that. First, when you hear it's your choice, you might be very upset at yourself. Why? And then why am I negative all day? I can choose. That means I'm choosing to be negative. So let's not be so harsh on yourself. Let's just take it easy. First, you become aware. And we become aware of why we feel a certain way, coming from our thoughts. Why do I think why do I think this way? Can I choose to think something different? And slowly you gain back control. Slowly you gain back control of your thinking. And then you realize, wait a second, so I can be in control, I can decide. So if somebody is aware that most of the day their emotional home is in negative, sad, so we have to realize from the lesson of Tisha B'Av that it's not every day. It's not every day. It's really once a year or a few minutes a day. And that's what we say, it's contained. We contain it. There are times that we sit and think about it, and then we get up and we continue. And that's really the discussion, thinking about where we are now. A week later, nothing really changed. Talking about, we passed Shabbos Nachmu. And what did Shabbos Nachmu look like? For many people, Shabbos Nachmu was very exciting. And it should be. The question is why? Nothing really changed. Everything is the same. We're still in Golus. How do we continue? So you might have that feeling of, this is happening so many times, so many years. Where is this going? I don't like this. And that's an awareness just to be aware of. That's the way you're thinking. And it's a legitimate feeling. I could understand it. Where is it going? If you have done it many times and you do it again, and after Tisha B'Av you get up, okay, Shabbos Nachmu here, and then what? So we do have to stop, and like what we're discussing, in the same time, same situation, could be positives and negatives. And we have to learn how to go on, even though nothing really changed. How to go on, even though we feel, why go on? It's, the same. So Shabbos Nachmu is called Shabbos Nachmu because the Haftarah, it's Nachmu Nachmu Ami. So we have to stop and think for a minute. Hashem is the one who's saying it. Hashem is the one who's saying that there's a reason for everything. There's a reason. You might not understand it. We might not be aware. We would love to understand. But there's a reason for it. And knowing that we're part of the bigger picture, knowing that Hashem runs the world, we're connected, that itself could give us a little bit of the strength to be able to continue, to understand I'm part of this, and I don't need to understand. And the same thing is in everybody's situation, in your daily situation. Sometimes you can go through certain things that are very, very hard, and you don't see how you're going to get out of it. But being able to connect, understand that we believe that whatever happens, there's a reason, and we're part of it, whether it's waiting for Mashiach, the big picture, or it's waiting to get out of something that you're going through today, something hard, maybe waiting for a shidduch, and today was Tu B'Av. So I want to give a bracha for all of those that are looking for shidduchim, Mitzvah Hashem, they should find the shidduch, but it's hard for many people. They wait many years. But if you know that it's part of a bigger picture, so it's much easier to find some light, even though you don't see the end of the tunnel. You find some light in the moment, right here, in the now. And like we said, if you spend some time to feel what we're missing, then Zoicha V'roya could mean that eventually when Mashiach comes, you'll be part of it. But we mentioned it's not only when Mashiach comes, it's today. It's now. Knowing that you're part of it, knowing that you're connected, knowing that there's a bigger picture, that itself could give you the koyach, give you strength to be able to continue. So we have to sit and take in the Nachmu Ami, even though we're still here, we need to take the strength to continue. What does Hashem want from us now? He doesn't want us to sit on the floor like Tisha B'Av the whole year, because we're not supposed to do that. So he wants us to continue. Get up, find the strength, the hope, and continue, which could be hard. And the same thing is in your own situation. It could be hard. If I would tell you, let's go, continue, keep on going, sometimes it's hard. And I give yourself the permission to stop and say, it's too hard for me, whatever you're going through. It's hard. I don't want to continue. Okay? We can understand that. We're not going to push you. It's eventually, like we discussed many times, you can validate, you can be there, validate, whether it's a child or yourself, self-validation, validate the way you feel. Be there, nothing has to change. You don't have to get out of it. And then hopefully, if you can sit there, feel it, and be there, you will be able to get out of it. But that's not the goal. Because if it's the goal, that means it's anxiety. Sometimes it's pushing, I don't want to be here. Why am I here so long? Why is it taking so long for me? I should be able to get up and continue. Why can't I get up? If you can't, that means that it hurts, it's hard to be able to accept where you are. And this is what we discussed, whether it's your child going through something, yourself, Klal Yisrael, the half full, half empty. We're in a situation where it's the same. It's the same. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed is that we're closer. Hopefully, we're getting closer and closer. That does change. But otherwise, it still feels the same. Still, thinking about whatever we're going through, whatever Beis Hamikdash, nothing really changed. So when is it going to happen? And talk about people after the war. It was very hard for them. They thought that Mashiach is coming. The only thing that made sense after going through whatever they went through is Mashiach has to come. And then they were very upset when they found out that liberation wasn't Mashiach, it was the human beings. They were pretty upset. Maybe mixed emotions like we're discussing. On the one hand, things were happening, there was a change. On the other hand, they couldn't believe it. So you can be in a situation where in the same place, there's positives and negatives. And this is what we're discussing over here, to become aware of both. We need the balance. To push it away, to suppress your emotions, we know already, is not healthy. It's not healthy physically, emotionally, and that's not what we're supposed to do, to push them away. Hide, pretend as if everything is okay, nothing bothers me. That we call toxic positivity. Just focus, you're trying to be 24/7 happy, always happy, and nothing bothers me. Well, how is that? So we do learn how to feel, we learn how to stop, and then that's what comes up. That's why it might be hard to stop some things that are uncomfortable. But we learn how to be there for yourself. You spend some time seeing it, feeling it, saying, yes, you're right, that's something I don't like. That's something I wish I can change. And being able to breathe, whatever it is. However, we need to contain it, to sit and be aware of it and say, Coach Menachem said you have to be able to sit with your negatives, and I do that all day. Well, that's not the solution here. You have to be able to contain it. There's a certain times of the year, certain times of the day, but then after we're done, we get up and we continue. So yes, we do learn to stop. to run around 24/7 saying everything is fine, nothing bothers me. You have to do some self-introspection because nothing major has to be going on in your life, but there's always ups and downs. Like we discussed, growth is out of your comfort zone. So that itself, growth, takes you to places where you don't like. And if you're not going places where you don't like, you might not be growing. So just that idea doesn't mean you're going through something, tragedy or something hard in your life. It could be an amazing life, things are great. But to say everything is fine, nothing bothers me, well, you're going to go out of comfort zone, you're going to feel it. You might be nervous. Okay, so be aware of that. I don't like to be nervous. How does it feel to be nervous? So yes, we do learn how to sit with those emotions, but not all day. There's a certain time that we do it, and then we go on. For beginners, I say start small and build it up. So it goes from 10 seconds to a minute to 5 minutes and maybe 10 minutes, but then that's it. For people who could do it already for hours and hours, I would tell them, wait a second. You got to cut down on it. Don't sit in it all day. Yes, be aware. You can write it down and feel it. You're not running away from it, which is amazing. But after that, you go on. And that brings us just to finish tonight. It's a lot that we discussed over here. To be able to find the positives in yourself, to see your growth, even while things haven't changed. You might be still sitting in the black, still sitting in a situation that you don't like. Things haven't changed. But we could find some positive. We could find the half full. To be able to see your growth, start writing down 2 things you appreciate. Writing down 2 things that you want to thank Hashem. All of this helps to bring out that positivity. Start celebrating your small wins, small things. You did something, it might not work out all the way, but you did a little bit. It worked a little bit. Celebrate. Start seeing your self-worth. Start seeing how you have quality, not because of other people. Yourself, feel it for yourself. Believing that Hashem loves you. And again, I would say become aware of what thoughts come up when I say that, because it's hard for many. You take some time off for yourself. Take a day off. Take some time. You deserve it. Start practicing self-care, a little bit of the positivity, the small things that you need to build you, to feel, because you deserve it. Yes. And this is how we slowly start becoming balanced. Again, it doesn't mean running away from the negative. Yes, we learn how to sit with it for a little bit. We contain it, and then we can continue. We can go on. We can build ourselves, build the positives, and help us to be in a better place so that we can continue doing what we need to do, what Hashem wants us to do from us, what Hashem wants us to do. Even in this, it might be looking dark because we haven't gotten out of Gullus, but we still have to continue. And that's what Hashem wants from us, with the positives, building the positives. And start telling yourself some positive affirmations, which we've discussed many times, but I'll just mention it one more time. You have to realize that the way you feel is an affirmation in your head. If you feel negative, it's probably a thought. And sit down, become aware of what the thought is. We have so many thoughts a day, 60, 70,000 thoughts a day. And the question is, who decides what the thoughts should be? Are you in control, or it happens automatically? And then most of it could be negative. So if that's the case, we have to come up slowly with a positive affirmation. So I can do it. I did it. It's good. I am good. And it works. We need it. So while we're here, still in Gullus, and it is mixed emotions, but we can get up and have that hope that Hashem tells us we are getting closer. We are getting closer in Mitzvah Hashem. And tell us, Tell yourself the positive affirmations. Like, even though I'm going through challenges, I embrace optimism and meaning, knowing that my journey is part of a greater purpose. I'm choosing optimism. Yes, even if I'm going through challenges, it's hard. Every day brings me new opportunities to embrace hope and joy, regardless of external situations, no matter where you are. Now it might be hard, but slowly tell yourself the positive affirmations to be able to get out of that negative place if it's hard for you. So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining. And Menachem, I'll see you next week. But remember, no matter where you are, no matter what you feel, you're still okay. You're okay. Be there for yourself. Spend some time with yourself. Listen to yourself. Understand. And eventually, not right away, don't try to change things. But eventually, after sitting there, understanding, giving yourself that validation, you can slowly start saying the positive affirmations to keep on going with that hope that Menachem, Mashiach is going to come today. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week, and Menachem will see you next week, Wednesday night. Have a good night and a good week.